Alexandra Botez is a well-known figure in the world of chess, a prominent Twitch streamer and an active YouTuber. She has an impressive record, having claimed the title of Canadian National Girls Champion an astonishing 5 times. With a peak rating of 2092, she currently holds the prestigious title of Women FIDE Master. On occasion, Alexandra Botez engages in chess games with chess hustlers. However, a unique scenario unfolds when she encounters a chess hustler who possesses exceptional chess skills and demonstrates brilliant maneuvers. Alexandra Botez starts the game by moving her pawn to d4, and her opponent replies by moving his pawn to d5. Botez decides to go with the queen's gambit and slides her pawn to c4. The chess hustler decides not to accept the gambit and replies with c6. Botez positions her knight on c3 square, and the best move here for black is to capture the pawn on c4, which is a standard move in Queen's Gambit decline variation. But instead of this move, the hustler goes with f5. A few more moves unfold as black advances his pawn to e6, enticing Botez to consider a potential pawn exchange. In response, she decides to advance her knight to e5. And I'm certain you recognize the significance of this well-positioned knight if you've been following us here on Horsey. If you haven't, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and become part of the Horsey family. Black chooses to launch an attack against the knight by using his bishop, prompting Botez to respond by advancing her pawn to e3. The hustler, aiming to safeguard his king, opts to castle, and Botez slides her bishop for a future castling maneuver. However, black unexpectedly advances his knight to e4, setting his sights on the vulnerable f2 square.
You're playing a little bit too quickly to not be a hustler, sir.
In response, the hustler intends to position his queen to h4 to target the exposed f2 pawn, but Botez thwarts these strategic moves by pushing her pawn to h4. A couple of more moves unfold and Botez starts chasing down black's knight, attacking it with her pawn and then with her bishop. Hustler slides his bishop to e7, adding an extra defender to his knight. Botez proceeds to develop her queen, and Hustler develops his knight to d7, offering a trade of pieces. After thinking for a while, Botez initiates the trade by capturing the knight on d7 with her knight. In response, black captures back with his knight. Botez again decides to trade the bishop, and Hustler captures back with his queen. Both players start maneuvering their pieces, and here Botez makes a critical error by castling kingside, because now black can initiate a huge attack on white's kingside with his knight, bishop, and the queen. But he completely misses the opportunity and makes a pawn move instead. A few moves later, we see a pawn exchange on a3 square, which completely favors Alexandra Botez. She initiates an attack by moving her rook to c5. Hustler attacks his rook with his knight, and Botez seizes the opportunity to capture the pawn. A couple of more moves unfold and the hustler slides his queen to b6. This move traps the white's rook, so Botez decides to capture the knight with this rook, and the hustler captures back with his bishop. This move allows Botez to recapture the bishop with her bishop, and this position completely favors white. Botez has a material advantage on the board and hence a solid position. But that's not all. Hustler digs his grave even deeper by making a huge blunder. He slides his queen to d6 with intentions to attack the bishop. But with this move, he actually blunders his rook.
No, you can't be that generous. I mean, I know you're a nice guy, but you have to have some boundaries.
I don't know.
Botez seizes the opportunity and captures this free rook, forcing Hustler to capture back. The game progresses with Botez forming a battery with her rook and queen on c-file. Now black's f5 pawn is hanging, and instead of defending this pawn, he slides his queen to d6, which allows Botez to capture the pawn with her queen. A few moves later, Hustler launches an attack on white's king. Botez slides her king to h2, inviting Hustler to capture the pawn with his queen. Now the king is in check and black will be able to draw the game because the king has only g1 square left to move. Knowing that, Botez offers a queen trade, which Hustler ignores without hesitation. A couple of more moves unfold and both players maneuver their pieces to more active squares, with Botez gaining the edge over Hustler by placing her rook on d6 square, launching a huge attack on h6 pawn. Hustler defends the pawn with the worst move possible, moving his rook to h7. They exchange their rooks and Botez then decides to trade off the queens too. The game progresses into an endgame with Botez having a huge advantage. Hustler was aiming to beat Botez on the clock, but a few more moves unfold and Botez promotes her pawn to a brand new queen, wiping all dreams of the Hustler. He resigns immediately, and Alexandra Botez emerged victorious.